let's move on to the next stage, right? Because there's a reason why we need to talk about that, and that's because I don't care who you are. Every single person that has succeeded at the highest possible level has got to have gone through failures to know what not to do, and what, where they've made mistakes and how to make change next time. There cannot be anybody on this planet that has succeeded at a really high level from the off, right? We have to go through challenges. We have to go through trauma sometimes that brings you out the other side.
Definitely felt trauma, yeah.
Of course, absolutely. And sometimes you need that. You need that fire, that grit, that determination, that never say die, because I've experienced what it's like before. I am not going through that again. Right?
Yeah.
So what happened after that? And suddenly Keller Williams lands in your lap. Now I know that's
kind of.
Let's skip past our conversations, right? So you and I brain dumped on the wall, wrote loads of ideas out as to what we were going to do next, loads of plans, because we've built businesses before, and we've run businesses before. What's my strength? What's your strength? We did it together.
Yeah,
right?
We did, yeah.
And we were ready to go again. We actually wrote out a business model not too dissimilar to Keller Williams at all, where we thought, you know what, that could work really well based on our experience of the learning curve that we've been on.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you come to me, this is my experience of it, and say, I want you to go and have a chat with this guy called Ben Taylor from Keller Williams. I'm like, mate, don't, you not distract me? Like, we've got our plan, we know what we're doing. I don't need to talk to anyone else. You're like, just have a conversation.
Yeah.
You'd obviously had a few conversations prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
What was it about those conversations that made you go, I need to talk more about this model?
Well, just to rewind just slightly, just so everyone understands the story behind it. Literally, when I officially left House Network, which was a very strange feeling, by the way, because you're used to being the main person and everyone coming to me about everything.
Yeah.
And the very next day, the emails don't go. The phone doesn't go. And I can't tell you how hard that is. In one way, there was a bit of relief, but I've got to be honest, it was very scary. Because I was used to solving problems. I was used to thinking. And I had a fire in my belly. I've got to say that fire was definitely going down lower and lower over the months because of concern and fear and everything else around the business. And all of a sudden, but when it goes, like someone's turned the gas off or the logs, like no one's lit a match.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah.
And I found that really scary. Like, I can't tell you how scary that was to not have any fire in my belly, because I'd had it from a young age. So that was really hard. I got asked literally within 24 hours. I was on the phone to Graham, because we speak daily. Well, not daily now, but not far off. And he said to me, he'd been introduced to Keller Williams and didn't want to come along. I was like, no, don't want to come along. I wasn't in the right frame of mind. But we said, well, let's go for a meal or drink afterwards and everything. So I thought I'd go there. And so long story short, we had plans. But there was just, again, I suppose one of those moments again that, like with Julianne, and just things happening for a reason. And it just felt right. It just felt right from the moment I heard what the model was, the intention, the size and scale of the company. It was very impressive. And then I started working on my own due diligence of how much is it working here in the UK at that time, what the model was, the business, everything, the financials, how it works. And that's when I said to you, I want you to go and meet some of the team to see what you thought as well. So that's kind of what we did. And
it was interesting because I've worked for you for many years.
Yeah.
I've sacked myself quite a lot during that period of time because we struggled a little bit.
Anyone that's worked with family members. I mean, maybe not. Maybe it's just you. Maybe it's just me and you.
Right?
But it was really tough. I mean, you must have resigned 25 times, and I fired you 15. But yeah, that's what that relationship was. It took a long time to kind of. It was so hard to separate business and personal, wasn't it? It was just like, because I'd say something, you'd be like, but I'm your sister. I'm like, I know, but I can't treat you like that way. You know, it's not fair on everyone else, right? So that was really, really hard. But we absolutely, I think we nailed that
we did
after a long time.
Yeah, we got it in.
Like literally 10 years.
Yeah, it did take a while, but I don't even know why I said that now. But yeah, so I do know why I said that. So you said to me, which actually I'll always be forever grateful for, is you actually said to me, go and see this guy, meaning Ben Taylor, have the conversation, because if you're not doing it, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that for me was the first time that I thought, you know what, he actually really, this sounds awful, he really values me as not as a person, because obviously I'm your sister and I know you value me as a person, but I mean, you actually do know I'm quite good at what I do.
I made the decision. Well, I think we got working more closely together in the last 18 months.
Yeah.
And I then saw something that I hadn't seen before. So I was pretty confident that no matter what we did next, it would be successful as long as it suited the individual. So I absolutely would not have done it if and look, you were quite hell bent on doing something else at the time. So but at that time, yeah, for sure, if you genuinely, if you turned around and said it's not for me, then I wouldn't have done it. But yeah.
But what that goes to show, and I think that's an important point to make, it's not about, oh, but isn't this lovely that you wouldn't have done it without me, but actually what it goes to show is that a model like this and what it takes to be able to really pour into the agents, to be able to develop their skills, for them to be able to run a business their way on their terms, it takes a certain type of character, doesn't it? And you need the right people in that business.
No, I'll be honest. Like when it did crumble around me, I mean, my biggest fear was actually I am a failure.
No,
I hadn't failed. I felt like a failure, and that was really hard for me to take. My gut reaction was, well, who's gonna listen to Mark Reddings anymore? Who's gonna want Mark Reddings? That's how I felt. And plus, because of my personality, just the guy getting stuff done, who knows Mark Reddings in the industry? That's how I felt. I'll be honest, I think if Ben would admit it today, I remember actually walking into the room, he didn't have a clue who I was.
No.
He had absolutely no idea.
Because you were the man behind
what I'd done,
the business.
At all. Didn't know me whatsoever. I was okay with that. But yeah, I think. Sorry, I've lost my train of thought.
No. So I was just sort of saying that it takes you need a certain type of group of people to be able to help develop people in their businesses, and obviously that's what Keller Williams is. So yes, I can be there to guide people and coach people, but there's certain skill sets that I don't have that you have in absolute abundance. Like you have run a business for 15 years. Prior to that, you run businesses that weren't in a state agency, obviously. You know tech like no other person that I know. And, you know, to not go into too much detail, when we first arrived at Keller Williams, there was no tech. There was no nurture program. There was nothing there to help people to stay in front of mind with their clients and things. You developed all of that through reading the book and understanding what this model was. So, you know, I'm not sitting here to blow smoke up your bottom. And I don't know what other phrase to say. I'm born in Essex. It's just how it is. But I'm not here to do that. Just to say that, and I'm not doing it because you're my brother. But you are brilliant at what you do, and I want to get onto that now, right? So we're now going to talk a little bit more about what you developed when you first came to Keller Williams and how we changed things. I think it's important to do, and then talk about, because of that, what led you on to being the regional director now. And you're going to feel uncomfortable about this because you're going to have to talk about your brilliance, I'm afraid.
No, I won't do that.
Well, I might have to do it for you.
No. Look, I think we can just summarise it that, you know, like any business when it's getting off the ground, and you know, like any of these self-employed models, business ownership models, they're all in the early stage developments. Because look, probably how many 2 or 3% of the market are self-employed at the moment. Is it going to go higher and higher? Yes. Will it go higher than the online agency? Yeah, absolutely. In my opinion, it will. And so when we got involved, there was 5 market centres across the country. Ben had been involved for maybe 18 months in the business, lots of stuff to turn around. So yeah, look, when we got there, was there all the systems in place? Yeah, no, there wasn't. But as a business owner, I just sat there and went, okay, that's fine. Let's go and do it ourselves then. That's what we did, right? So read the book, understood certain things, and obviously loved the model. Was there some stuff missing? Yeah, sure. There's gaps, like there is today. There's gaps in this business today. Are we gonna fill them? Absolutely. That's how we're gonna progress as a business and get it to the size that it deserves to be. But yeah, all I did, Claire, was just identify that if we really want to build a relationship with people, you're going to need to have a platform to systematically and automatically get in touch with people, and that's really what I did. And look, I spent time doing it. There's loads of platforms out there, but we put something in place. Is it perfect? No. Does it do the job if you really want to commit to it? 100%.